Now is Sky News producer Max Preston. He also has quadriplegic cerebral palsy. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. First time you've been on the telly. It's quite exciting, isn't it, really?
Certainly on Sky News, yeah. And as you said, I do work with the team here, so it's a real privilege. But
well, we're delighted to have you on the show this afternoon. What did you think about the reaction that he received in that report?
Well, it's not uncommon to some of the reactions that I have when I'm out in public. I've had bus doors slammed in my face before now, but actually I have a specially adapted vehicle that I use to get around most of the time, so that's not a huge issue. What I would say is that you do still get the patronising side of things that this campaign that Scope have launched is aiming to
What do you mean by
combat against. Well, basically, let me give you an example of something that just happened to me just this morning. I had to go and run an errand at one of my local council offices, and I was standing waiting in the queue with a woman with a large stuffed rabbit who decided that this was something that I would find amusing, and basically she was attempting to attract my attention as you would a small child. So that was not ideal, and I just nodded and smiled as politely as I could. And
do you think it's embarrassment, people not knowing how to behave appropriately?
I have absolutely no idea, but the thing that I always say to people is that you know, they should have absolutely no reason to be embarrassed. I mean, I've recently begun the process of attempting online dating, and
you!
I know. And in my profile, I decided eventually to put, I happen to use a wheelchair to get around owing to cerebral palsy. I also happen to think it's the least interesting thing about me, and hopefully you'll agree.
And what response have you had so far?
Mixed. But there are some very nice people who genuinely don't, because obviously, you know, potentially entering into a relationship with somebody in my position, you don't know what the whys and wherefores are, but people genuinely have nothing to be afraid of, and I have a whole heck of a lot of life experience that allows me to hopefully be a good journalist, a good friend and a good partner, and that's why people, I think, need not to be as afraid as they are. I mean, you get out of this survey, I think it's 1 in 5 18 to 35-year-olds saying that they would probably just rather walk past rather than talk to somebody in a position like mine, and that's very disheartening. But hopefully the more that can be done to show that we do lead perfectly normal lives and we are capable in just pretty much the same way as everybody else. I mean, I refer to myself as permanently seated. So, you know, it's entirely possible.
I had an email, a tweet rather, from somebody earlier. Sadly, I've not got their name in front of me, but they said if that tape report there had been filmed in the north, then potentially there would have been a different reaction. And also, you lived in America for some time, didn't you?
I did.
Did you find that people reacted differently there?
Well, to a certain degree. I mean, I went to university in Leeds. I did my journalistic apprenticeship up there. I did actually have somebody that I was sharing a newsroom with up there come in on the 10th day of my placement and literally say to me just like this, "Hello, have you come for a watch?" So, I mean, that can be discouraging. But in America, you see, the great leveller was the Vietnam War, because young guys went off to fight and they came home with limbs blown off and all sorts of things having gone wrong for them, and they needed to continue leading productive lives with their families and their partners and so on. So actually, America's attitude towards all of this sort of thing is, I have to say, I think in my experience, rather more progressive than you find over here. But like I've been saying, the more that we can do to normalise this, the better, really.
What challenges does the fact that you are in a chair offer or present to you when you do your job as a journalist?
Well, I mean, one of the things, as our viewers can see this afternoon, is that you are sofa-bound rather than desk-bound.
I like it over here. I'm getting quite comfortable over here, actually. Isn't the Webster's over there tomorrow?
We're going to have to do it like this from now on, I guess.
Absolutely right.
But really, what is great is that there are 95 times out of 100 it's not an issue, and 99 out of those times it's something that we can get round. So, you know, I wouldn't be here doing the job that I do as a digital producer here on Sky News if I wasn't absolutely sure, and indeed if my bosses weren't absolutely sure, that it was something I could do. So it's both a great privilege and a great challenge.
Have you got? You said that you've got some dates. What, have you got any dates that you?
It would be highly impolitic for me to say. Have we got breaking news? No. Right. Okay.
Max, it's great to talk to you.
Thanks very much for
taking the time. Thanks a lot, Max Preston. I can also tell you that this young man has got a brain the size of the planet, and should be on anybody's quiz team. Let me tell you. Still to come, very latest business news. Why Barclays is cutting 20,000 jobs as it attempts to break with the past. That to come.